Pick your mans up.
And just because people used to come through shooting at us every day. And this block, words can't even explain, man. Can't even explain.
Yeah, man. Little School Valley, 051 Young Money. Young Money, man. They in the building.
600 boy, LA, man. LA Capone, man. Get it to him, man. OC2 boys, man. Team
Number 9, man. Number 9 shooter, you hear me?
Hey, bitch, you little bitch. Yeah. What the fuck is wrong with you, hey, I am Brick Squad. Yeah, Brick Squad, boy. What the fuck is you talking about, boy?
You have to be willing to die or go to jail for 100 years if that's the lane that you're stepping in. You have to understand that whether you 15, 16, you got to think like a man. You know what I'm saying?
So don't be in it. Oh, you're not? Why does everybody say you're only 16 years old?
They say what they want to say.
How old
how old are you?
300.
Background story. 051 Young Money, 600, Wiiic City, Geodrive, THF46. This video will be a short story about 600, Geodrive, 051 Young Money, Wiiic City and THF46. 600 and 051 Young Money are known to most people who follow the Chicago drill scene. However, not many people know about Geodrive and what role they have played in this war. 600 and 051 Young Money are, as everyone knows, bitter enemies, and Geodrive, a set that was once neutral, became involved in the war. A little over 10 years ago, SKD was pretty close to the Black Disciples who owned King Drive, which included Wiiic City and 600. Memo's little brother, Lil Steve, who was shot dead in 2011, was close to multiple SKD members. At the time, SKD was even angry when Lil Steve was killed by mob members but remained neutral between the two. For those of you who don't know, SKD stands for South King Drive. Geo, who was from SKD, was close to many members from both 600 and 051 Young Money, even when the war was going on between the two gangs. Geo was close to people like Boss Moo, D-Rose and Just Blow, but at the same time he was also close to Lil Mark, Fathead and Lil Mick from 051 Young Money. Ide from 600 once stated that he used to send off Geo to go drill on Jaro City. However, if one is to be completely honest, Geo voluntarily slid on Jaro when he hanged out with members from 600 that he was close to. It was complicated and many felt that Geo played both sides. Truth to be told, if Geo was alive, he'd likely have had to pick a side, because now, Jaro City and 051 Young Money are clicked up, and Geodrive, which was made in Geo's honor, are clicked up with 051. Geodrive, just like 051, squashed their differences with Jaro and STL/EBT and are now cool with them. Geo did not get in the way of 600's war with 051, nor did they play both sides. He stayed out of it, but as time went on, he leaned more towards 051 Young Money's side after SKD got closer to Von World and Mob. Many ask what started the war between 051 and 600, some speculate that it was over a female. However, 051's beef with 600 has been going on for over a decade, going back when Zeko was killed. Back then, there was always beef between Lamron and 051. Lil Durk even dissed them in a song back in 2009. This beef came from Lamron, obviously taking THF46's side, who were known as 46 Terror at the time. Bruh, a member from THF46 that you're all familiar with, was always close to many guys from Lamron, especially Boona, who nowadays is really close to Lil Durk. Between the years 2009 to 2010, Boona slid a lot with 46 members, which only added on to the beginning of the beef between Lamron and 051. At the time, 600 was not formed yet in Wiiic City, who back then were still cool with some Jaro members, were still beefing with Brick City, who were in a full-on war with Jaro. This went on until D-Thang and Lil Boo decided to mend the tension between all of the sets by forming 600, which consisted of guys from Front Street, Brick City and Wiiic City, who stopped hanging out with Jaro and instead started sliding on them. Bruh, who was a member of THF46, was also a member of Wiiic City, being that he lived in Parkway Gardens. Because of Bruh being so respected, Wiiic City took his side and became cool with 46 Terror through him. Because of this, of course, 051 felt some type of way about Wiiic City, and since Bruh stayed in Parkway, 051 along with Met Boys used to slide through and shoot up Parkway a lot of times, which basically started the beef between Wiiic City and 051 Young Money. Bruh was really a big priority for the enemies. He was 46's most active shooter. Because of this, 051 and Met Boys were desperate to catch him. Like I said, of course this affected the Wiiic, being that it was their hood being shut up, already not liking 051 to begin with because of being on 46's side because of Bruh. Over time, 600 got involved in the beef, with 600 obviously taking the BD's side. Once members from Wiiic City began dying, like OD and Patoon, 051 began mocking them because of them being close to Bruh. With 600 having former Wiiic City members, of course they wouldn't let such things slide. This led to M-Thang allegedly drawing the first blood between 051 and 600 by killing T-Streets, which was the starting shot for a bloody and protracted war between the two sides. Like all new sets in Chicago, such as 800, once 600 was formed and started dropping bodies, they became one of Chicago's most hated sets in the city. Most of their beef was inherited because of sets they were allies with. The beef with Mob came because of Front Street. The beef with STL/EBT came because of Wiiic City, and the beef with 46 because of 46 and Wiiic City. The only real beef they had was with Jaro City, which originated from the Brick City days. This was the reason why 600 were so hated. Many thought they went to war they have nothing to do with. This is the reason why many people hate 800 as well. Now back to SKD and Geodrive. After Geo was killed by Guttaville, who were close with all of the BDs, combined with Blackgate's war with SKD and Geodrive, which is another set cool with all the BDs. The more people lost, the more it pushed SKD and Geodrive to the Mob/051 side. Nowadays, SKD but especially Geodrive are main enemies to guys that their deceased friends once loved. This was just a short backstory to make you understand the bigger picture of the Chicago war in this area, how they begin and how new ones are created. I'm in the final stages of the video about the story of shooter shells. It will be uploaded next week.